So out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have, boom, Death Wish. Okay, so this is the Eli Roth version, not the Charles Bronson version. Of course, has Bruce Willis in it. I don't remember a film before release that was dogged so hard for being pro-gun, ultra-right, mowing down black and brown people in the streets. And thank God TMZ talked to Eli Roth and said, watch the movie first. Holy shit. And you could tell by a lot of the critics, they didn't give a shit. They went into the movie already knowing what they were going to give the rating. And it's very disappointing. Chase Leaki here at the Blue Futon reviewing Death Wish. So it's about pretty simple premise. This is a quote-unquote remake. I'm not really going to call it a remake of the old Death Wish movie with Charles Bronson. Of course, Bruce Willis, he's a doctor in Chicago, and his wife gets brutally murdered. His daughter is in a coma, and the police are having a hard time finding the bad guys because it is a botched robbery. Nothing really chaotic goes wrong to have evidence, and there's just so many gun crimes in Chicago. What do you know? Another blue city. But you know what? Now he has to take revenge on his own. He just needs fucking revenge. And I'm a sucker for revenge films. If you know me, revenge films I love. And is it a love? No, but it's pretty damn good. Like I said in the intro, I do not remember. I remember vividly this movie was coming out. Like, not even a trailer was out, and they're just like, Eli Roth hates black people. Eli Roth hates brown people. Okay, maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but it was that extreme. Even there are some critics that are like, this is going to be an ultra-right, mowing down brown and Mexican people in the streets. Like, you didn't even watch the fucking movie. And, of course, it goes, well, it really wasn't that. Then why did you have the assumption going in, you fucking chodes? And, okay. Anyway, you have Bruce Willis, you have Elisabeth Shue, Mike Epps makes a small appearance, you have the guy from Breaking Bad, a Norman something, that's a botched name, that's 100% my fault, Dean Norris, I'm a freaking idiot, Vincent DeFonso, I can never pronounce this guy's last name, Vincent Orafrio, I can never pronounce his last name, it's Italian, I'm guessing, right? Anyway, alright, let's talk about the positives of this movie because I can't pronounce for shit for some of the actors' name. It is an Eli Roth revenge film. The best movie I could say this correlates to it that came out before is Death Sentence, and that's a very underrated James Wan movie with Kevin Bacon. Another graphic revenge film. This one, there are some pretty graphic kills, and that's why I think Eli Roth was perfect for this movie because they saw him in, Green Inferno, you have him in Hostel, you have him in Cabin Fever, and you're like, let's make a revenge film with a good amount of gore, and this does, especially in the car shop, especially the end with his battle with a head wound, and it's pretty damn good. I remember watching this the first time with my mom and dad, and we truly liked this in the movie theaters, and I liked it again the second time. Some people could say that the first act is kind of slow. You could say it's slow, sure, but I like the slow build-up. It's kind of reminded me of Silent Night, where Bruce Willis didn't know what the hell he was doing. And so he had to slowly realize, okay, how he's going to operate this gun, how he's going to clean the gun. This first time going out, he isn't good at it, kind of like Kick-Ass as well, where I like the progression, where yes, you could get the badass John Wicks, where he's a badass through and throughout, and you know not to fuck with him. But I kind of like these progression stories more of, people trying to get revenge, doing shitty the first time, but finally slowly getting better. And I really did dig that. There was one kill with the ice cream man, which I understand why it did it, but it also reminded me of True Detective. No, sorry. Mindhunter Season 2 with the black serial killer and how the black community refused to think it was a black guy killing all of these black kids. But there is no way a white guy could be in that neighborhood without people raising an eyebrow like, what the fuck is he doing here? And so, yes, I fully believe that was a black serial killer. There's no other way. So this is the same thing in this one where it's like they see a white guy, kind of strolling down South Side Chi-Town. And that's something you don't really see. So, some eyebrows would be raised, and there were some to it. But I thought it was funny when that guy, the ice cream man, did die and everyone went for the drugs. It's like, yeah, at that point, I don't think they give a shit about him. They care about what is in the cooler, if I want to put it that way. Like I said, Eli Roth, I think does a good job directing. When the action's on screen, it's really good. When the gore's on screen, it's really good. And it's a good ass, revenge film. Some people say Bruce Willis was not really acting in this film. I disagree. I don't remember the last time I seen Bruce Willis cry in a movie, and it seemed like real tears, so I really felt that. Vincent de Oliphant, even though I pronounced his name wrong again, slap in the face, did a pretty good job. Elizabeth Shue, she was probably on set for maybe a week, if that. Dean Norris does a good job, and I think it's an overall well-acted, well-crafted film. Some negatives you can say about this film is you could say some pacing was a little bit off in the first and second act to see what it was going for. Some of the shootouts were a little bit too perfect for Bruce Willis to an extent, especially where some of the scenes were at, especially in this bathroom, which I did like that a lot of the kills really weren't guns, that they were, kind of using the environment for darts, for a carjack, for things like that. And I understand some people might think the third act is a little rushed and just too quick. I disagree, because at a point, it's not going to be a slow, methodical, like, oh, who's going to shoot, who's going to get shot, who's going to kill. It's going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. There's going to be not a lot of time to think, and you got to go quick, especially the very end, which when it happened, I was like, oh, damn, that's fast. I was expecting for a little bit more suspense, but let's be honest. How many movies do you see, like, the good guy and bad guy, like, talk it out for, like, 7 minutes, then it's, like, some John Woo, like, no one's hitting shit until, like, 10 minutes later? No. In real life, if you're at kind of point-blank range, it's going to be boom, 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 boom. You don't have no time to think, and this movie really did show that. So yes, overall, Death Wish, I like it. I'm a sucker for Eli Roth movies. I'm a sucker for revenge films. So you got me 1, 2, punch, I'm going to like this film. Yes, some pacing in the beginning can be a little bit slow to get to the actual, conclusion or what the movie is trying to say, because there is also a message about gun violence in Chicago and how it's a rampant problem, and it truly is. And it's, the Grim Reaper or an angel. This guy is going after bad guys, but do you let the cops do it, or do you take justice in your own hands, because the cops have so much on their plates when there are so many shootings happening in Chicago? What can they do? Because when no one talks to the cops, how are they supposed to solve these crimes? So yes, Death Wish, if you like revenge, if you like Eli Roth, you're going to like this film. Death Wish will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals that 80%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. Of course, like I said, I already knew it. 18% with the critics, 163 of them. Popcorn meter, critic audience says it's 70%. Critic consensus, Death Wish is a little more than a rote retelling that lacks the grit and convention of the original and suffers from spectacular bad timing. How is this bad timing? It was 2018 this came out. Why was this bad timing? Like, that's, if they think it's bad timing, every week is bad timing when talking about a gun crime in Chicago. These fucking critics are in a goddamn bubble, living in their New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, dystopian. They think the world is perfect, shitty, San Francisco. They all have something in common. Anyway, 80, 70, 18. Before I say Chase out here with the blue futon, what I'm telling you right now, it's this guy right here. You ready? Ready? Where's that? Film Frenzy. The good news, despite all the worries that this would be nothing more than an alt-right wet dream in which Bruce Willis guns down scores of blacks and Muslims, the film is actually restrained in such matter. The bad news, it still isn't very good. Ugh. Some people are just so fucking annoying.